This is the Plain English Real Estate Show with your host, Rowena Patton, a show that focuses on the real estate market in terms you can easily understand. Call Rowena now. The number is 240-9962 or 1-800-570-9962. Now here's the English girl in the mountains, the agent that I would trust, Rowena Patton.
September 11th, 2001.
I get a phone call by a firefighter. He said, nobody's coming home.
The people needed our help, and we were going to go help them.
On September 11th, 2001, FDNY firefighter Stephen Siller strapped 60 pounds of gear on his back and raced on foot through the tunnel to the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center, where he gave his life while saving others. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been supporting America's heroes ever since. We provide the surviving families of fallen first responders and military members with mortgage-free homes and build specially adapted mortgage-free smart homes for America's most catastrophically injured veterans and first responders. We're also committed to eradicating veteran homelessness. Come support the Tunnel to Towers Foundation at one of our many events throughout the year. Join us in supporting our heroes by donating $11 a month now.
Hi everyone, it's Rowena Patton, your friend in real estate, here with you today on Real Estate News Radio. This is the show you've been waiting for. I've been promising to bring leadership from Tunnel to Towers onto the show, a cause we proudly support through the Listing Royalty Network. And today that promise is a reality. We've got a very special guest, Gavin Naples, who leads the Homeless Veterans Program at Tunnel to Towers. We're diving into the incredible work they're doing to support those who served our country. Stay with us. It's going to be an inspiring conversation.
We're talking about the people who have put their lives on the line for this great country, the people who have lost and paid the greatest price for our freedom, for guys like me to be able to go sing songs about whatever I want to sing about every single night. And we're talking about an organization that helps support families and support the people that are running into the danger that the rest of us are running away from. And that's the kind of people I want to be beside. Those are the real heroes, man. I'm just a big fat guy with a guitar. Hey, y'all, this is Jelly Roll, and I am asking you to give $11 a month to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation is committed to honoring the dignity of the American service member and is committed to helping end homelessness amongst the veteran community and ensure no veteran is left behind. Providing a safe and dignified home is an imperative part of helping veterans who are homeless reclaim their lives. Donate $11 a month by calling 1-844-BRAVEST or visit T2T.org.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited today. We have Gavin, who's the VP of the Homeless Veteran Program at Tunnel to Towers with us. And we've been trying to set up this interview for a very long time. And you guys, what I love about you, Gavin, is that you run this program somewhat on a shoestring so that you can give back 95.1% of every dollar to the program. I mean, that's unheard of, isn't it?
It's pretty exceptional. We run very lean. I'm working out of a strip mall on Staten Island right now. Our CEO is uncompensated, and all the money really does go to our programs and to our veterans and first responders.
It's just quite incredible. And the number of celebrities that support you at this point, are they paid celebrities or do they come on because they want to, I'm guessing?
No, we galvanize them based on our mission, and they've been very good to us in spreading awareness as to our programs and what we're looking to do and what we have done for our injured veterans and our fallen first responder families, our Gold Star families, and now our homeless veterans.
Cole Hauser is an award-winning actor who has starred in Good Will Hunting, Too Fast, Too Furious, and the current hit show Yellowstone. Beyond his impressive career, he is a proud supporter of the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. I was able to spend some time with Cole and his family to reflect on those who have sacrificed so much to defend our freedom.
I know how much you care about America and our veterans, and I know the things that, but you have such a platform now. Yeah. And to share that with us, that we need to get the word out that we have to take care of these great heroes and their families.
You know, as I started to be more and more successful, it was like, how can I help? But when I heard of the Tunnel to Towers, and I met Brandon in Idaho and his family, I was like, wow, there's actually a charity where we know where the money's going to go.
We have 95.1% of every dollar goes to our programs.
And I think Brandon's a great spokesman for T2T
and his wife Shannon and his two
daughters,
girls. I mean, oh my God, they're just what a family, right?
Special family. Yeah.
So pretty much, if you put your life on the line and something goes bad, they're there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're incredible people, man.
You saw all the stuff we put in these homes,
man,
right?
I was blown away.
And they deserve it. They've earned it. This is not, of course, we give them a mortgage-free home, but look what they gave up. They gave up their bodies. So, Cole, why should Americans give, donate, help Tunnel to Towers Foundation?
I mean, is there any better organization to help the people that has fought for this country and the freedoms that we have? It's just that simple.
It is that simple.
Let's take care of each other.
And you're going to join us on that mission. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Cole Hauser. I want you to join me in supporting our nation's heroes and their families. It's only $11 a month. Go to t2t.org.
Give me some of the names, because, you know, it always surprises me when people don't know who Tunnel to Towers are. T2T.org. I'm always surprised when somebody says, no, I haven't heard of them. I see your ads everywhere. I'm always watching your videos. I'm subscribed to you on YouTube. The amount of celebrities you have is just phenomenal, because they really believe in what you do. Come on, throw some names out there.
Yeah, no, we've been very blessed. Obviously, Mark Wahlberg has been a great sponsor of ours. Andy Pettit, David Wells, Jelly Roll. The list goes on and on. We have quite a few. A lot of people have been very good to us over the years. You know, as you know, the foundation started in the wake of the 9/11 terrorist attacks on New York City. Firefighter Steven Siller was a Brooklyn firefighter who was off duty that morning. And he was going to play golf with his three brothers. He heard that the South Tower had been hit by the airplane. So he drove his car to the base of the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, which connects Brooklyn and Lower Manhattan. It was closed to vehicular traffic that day. And so he got out of his car, he put 60 pounds of gear on his back, and he ran nearly 4 miles through the underground tunnel into the South Tower, and his body was never recovered. He died saving others that day, and he left behind 5 children. So from that sacrifice,
I didn't know he left behind 5 children.
That's how the foundation began, was from that ultimate run, and that's the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. You know, memorializing the steps that he took on that day to defend our country. And so his brothers and sisters got around a kitchen table 20 plus years ago, 24 years ago now.
It's amazing.
Said we have to honor what he did for America, and they started the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. And from that kitchen table, we've grown to nearly a $500 million organization a year. We've given over 1,500 mortgage-free homes to injured veterans, taken over 10,000 veterans, provided them with housing assistance and access to services.
I'm Shane Thomas. I work for the State Department doing IT, project management. First time I met Kate was back in Tuscaloosa. I was just coming off of deployment to Iraq and trying to complete my bachelor's degree. She had already been there pursuing her doctorate. We met through veteran service organizations that were trying to get spun up in Tuscaloosa. She would say that the 11th commandment in the Hendricks household was thou shalt join the Marine Corps, because she joined, her brother joined, her father is a retired Marine Corps colonel. The biggest reason why I married her was because of her heart. She had a big one, and she wasn't afraid to kind of show it. We learned that Matthew was on the way, and we were dating at the time, had been dating for 6 to 9 months. And when we figured that out, that's when we started getting real serious, and got married in May 22nd, 2014, and our son was born on July 2nd, 2014. So we were graduating that same year, so it was time to start shipping up and shipping out. She would spoil him rotten, and she loved him so much. She wanted Matthew to stay little, and she wanted to be a mom. Kate was deployed to Iraq in 2005. Her getting out of the reserves, I believe, in 2013, and me being out, or getting out of the Army National Guard, was that you could still get benefits from the VA for a certain period of time. So she and I would maintain status by going up and getting our annual physicals. Well, she was 38 at the time, and one of the VA nursing assistants had made a comment and said, hey, you know, I get you're 38, and I get that we're not supposed to give you a mammogram until you're 45, but because of the fact that you've been overseas, we're hearing stories through the VA that more and more women are coming back and having breast cancer. So it's probably a good idea. I'll refer you, and you can go get a mammogram. January 10th, 2018, she gets the call, and then she turns around and calls me and says they found something, and I've got a few other doctor's appointments that we've got to start going to. And that began a whirlwind week of doctor's appointments that went from surgeons to anesthesiologists to chemo school to radiation school to, you know, this is the 1-year game plan that we've got. And the following week after that, we're called back in because more scan results had come through, and her oncologist at the time said, so everything we did last week, throw away. You've got 6 to 10 years, and you start chemo tomorrow. And when she first said 6 to 10 years, I asked, is that how long the treatment's gonna take? Like, it's just gonna be a long haul? And she didn't answer. And that's when we kind of slowly started putting the pieces together that this is stage 4, and this is the reality that we're forced to kind of live with. There was a time period where I had to sit him down in the room and explain to him why mommy was so sick and what the side effects meant. And I said, if this doesn't work, it's not long. And he was like, what do you, and so we had to have a conversation, like not long as in mommy's not gonna be here. So we just kept battling it. Her symptoms and her side effects kept getting worse and worse and worse. And then finally in, I believe it was March 2022, we had run through everything. Her liver had gotten so bad that there was nothing else that they could really kind of throw at it. And we entered hospice, and she passed away April 5th, 2022. And hospice nurse came by and announced herself to Kate and tried to do some examinations, but Kate wasn't moving and Kate wasn't talking. She was breathing, but she wasn't responsive really. And then that day, it started, the whole transition process started. Matthew had just gotten back from his buddy's house, and he wanted to come upstairs and see Mama, and I tried to get him to stay back because I didn't want him to see whatever was happening. And he waited until I came downstairs and say his final goodbyes, and then Matthew came down and he sat down in that chair. And, you know, we've spent the last year and 2 months working through it. We embrace the fact that the only way out of this storm is through it. There's no real way when you're dealing with grief or something like this to outrun it. You can never outrun it. Either way, at some point or another, it's going to catch up to you. And if you delay dealing with it, it could be really bad in the future. Kate loved traveling, and she made me promise her that we would not give up traveling after she was gone. So in honor of her, every year we're going to try and start doing a big trip. This year was Niagara Falls, and we drove up there and had a great time being able to see some sights, and we're probably never going to go back. And that's kind of the thing, is I want the tradition to be someplace that either we haven't been to before or someplace I haven't been to in a very long time, but some big bucket list-esque type items that we can kind of go see the world. That way, when it's time for him to go to college, you know, he's got a lot of travel underneath his belt, and he can say, I've understood that the world is much bigger than just what goes on at home. Kate's biggest regret that she had in life, and her parents and her brother and her siblings, they will all back me up on this, was the fact that she was 2 months away in being able to get full life insurance benefits. So she only got a portion of those life insurance benefits, and we were able to pay off student loan debt and car debt and all this other stuff, but we didn't have enough to pay off the house. And that was the biggest regret that she had in life, was the fact that the mortgage was still going to be outstanding. Tunnels Towers called me and offered to pay off our mortgage, and I was skeptical of that because we had only been living here for a few years. It was a lot. And when they offered to pay off the mortgage, I didn't trust it. I didn't believe it until I actually saw it. And then when I finally saw it, I think everybody kind of lost it, because the one piece of unfinished business for Kate had finally been finished. if you had that one 5-minute conversation that you could have, that would be the first thing out my mouth. Hey, tell us the tower's paid off our mortgage, honey. You don't have to worry. You can go back to heaven and have fun and know what she knows. My wife was Kate Hendricks Thomas. Never forget.
And as you said, we give 95 cents every dollar away to our programs.
How on earth do you do that? I don't know of any program, and I've looked into this. I can't find one that even comes near. So, and one, I asked you a question. I'm going to let you answer it. I promise. I think the other thing to know is that when you are giving to organizations, then just check out how much of the money, how much of the dollar actually goes to where your intended giving is going. Because I know there are veterans programs out there, and it's great that we have, lots of veterans programs. Some of them, it's quite common to see 50 or 60%. You're at 95.1%. That's amazing. How on earth do you do that?
Very low overhead, and again, it all goes back to our programs. We've been very blessed with our $11 a month campaign and our corporate sponsorship to have really hyperbolic growth in the last few years. We have four premier programs now. Our smart home program, we construct and design specially adapted smart homes for injured veterans. It's all controlled by an iPad, the lights, the kitchens, the bathrooms, everything to make it, living independent much more easy for our catastrophically injured veterans. Our Gold Star families, veterans that don't return home from war, they're killed in the line of duty. We take care of their families with small children, provide them with new homes, pay off their mortgages. And our fallen first responder families, which are police officers, firefighters, and EMT workers that are killed in the line of duty, we pay off their mortgages and provide new homes for their families. And now our homeless veteran program, we've committed to eradicating homelessness amongst veterans nationwide. That's the program that I'm heading up. And what we're doing and what we've done in a very tight time frame is basically developed two and now a three-pronged model. We're going to the places throughout the nation where the rates of homelessness are highest, large metro areas throughout the nation, and we're acquiring hotels, hospitality properties, as well as raw land, and we're renovating the existing hotels, gut renovating them into permanent housing, supportive housing locations for our veterans, and we're also building new villages of permanent supportive housing for our veterans. We have over 1,500 units under some stage of development now in 15 cities across the nation. Many, many, many more to come.
I was putting Gavin on the spot there. I'd like to take you through the various programs on here. And you can find this by going to t2t.org. That's t2t.org. Once you're on there, click on programs and then go down to Homeless Veteran Program, or of course any of the others you're interested in. There's a tab at the top on the menu, Smart Home Program. We talked about that one, Fallen First Responder Home Program, Gold Star Family Home Program, Homeless Veteran Program. That's the one we're on right now. So here we are in Houston, Texas. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation has completed a full-scale conversion of a former hotel in Houston, Texas, into a high-end, affordable apartment complex, which now provides permanent and transitional housing to 131 veterans in the greater Houston area. The property is equipped with a comprehensive service center on the first floor, offering veterans a litany of needed supportive services provided by U.S. vets. That's amazing. And we go down to Atlanta, Georgia, and you can see pictures of these along with virtual tours on their website at t2t.org. In Atlanta, Georgia, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has broken ground on our Atlanta Veterans Village. We're currently in the process of renovating a 103-room home in Atlanta, which will provide permanent housing and supportive services to approximately 92 veterans in the greater Atlanta area. And then we have Bradenton, Florida. The tunnel to and Bradenton, of course, was just hit as well in the one that came through after Helene. They took a direct hit. The name's escaping me right now. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation has broken ground on our Bradenton Veterans Village. We're currently in the process of constructing an 85-room apartment complex and comprehensive supportive service center A community of 35 comfort homes will complement the village, providing additional permanent housing to veterans. And then we've got Memphis, Tennessee. T2T has broken ground on our Memphis Veterans Village. They're really busy right now, obviously. Currently in the process of converting a former 120-unit hotel in Memphis into permanent housing with comprehensive support services for approximately 105 veterans. These are not small complexes as well, you're noticing. Then we have Bayville, New Jersey. The T2T Foundation has been approved to construct a veterans village encompassing a 98-unit apartment complex and comprehensive support service center, complemented by 24 comfort homes. So that's a 98-unit apartment plus 24 comfort homes. And then up to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I feel like I'm taking you all over the country here today. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation is assessing an 8.5-acre tract of waterfront property where we intend to construct a veterans village encompassing a 64-unit apartment complex and comprehensive support services. There we go again. Obviously, common to have those support services in place throughout anything Tunnel to Towers does, complemented by 20 comfort homes. Las Vegas, Nevada. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation currently under contract for a 5-acre parcel of land adjacent to the VA Southern Nevada Healthcare Complex and is in the process of submitting plans to the City of North Las Vegas. Come on, City of North Las Vegas, let's get those through as soon as we can. Denver, Colorado has broken ground on our Denver Veterans Village. We've purchased property in downtown Denver, which is intended to convert into permanent housing with comprehensive support services for over 100 veterans. These are massive units, guys. Buffalo, New York. Broken ground on our Buffalo Veterans Village. We're currently in the process of constructing a veterans village encompassing a 94-unit apartment complex and comprehensive support service center in Cheektowaga. I so hope I said that correctly. Detroit, Michigan. Broken ground on our Detroit Veterans Village, currently in the process of converting a hotel in Southfield, Michigan into permanent housing, of course, with that comprehensive supportive service center for 88 veterans. Imagine all the jobs this is providing. Not just, obviously, amazing permanent housing for the veterans. This is creating a massive amount of jobs. Imagine just construction alone, the kind of jobs that's creating. And the management of these places. You're basically running a hotel for 88 people or 100 people or 200 people. That obviously takes some management, whatever kind of form that comes in. So adding even more jobs there. Then we've got North Charleston, South Carolina. This is very close to us in Asheville. We're only about 4 hours away. Broken ground on the North Charleston Veterans Village. Purchased a 90-unit hotel in North Charleston, which is intended to convert into a permanent housing complex and comprehensive supportive service center. Again, if you've just tuned in, we are talking about Tunnel to Towers today, going through all of those programs. We're also talking to Gavin, who's the VP of the Homeless Veterans Program. He's heading it up for Tunnel to Towers. We're going through all the projects right now before we go back to Gavin. And then we've got Long Island, New York, currently assessing a property in Nassau County where it's intended to construct a veterans village encompassing a 42-unit complex. It's amazing. And they're targeting, actually, Gavin is the land purchaser to look for all of these. Here are the targets. I'm going to go through these quickly because there's a lot on here. Jacksonville, Florida, Orlando, Florida, Brooklyn, New York, Sacramento, California, Cleveland, Ohio, Bronx, New York, West Palm Beach, Florida, Puerto Rico, Jackson, New Jersey, Portland, Oregon, Charlotte, North Carolina, Kansas City, Missouri, Seattle, Washington, Dallas, and Austin in Texas. And then there's also affiliate projects as well in Riverside, California. Tunnel to Towers has provided funds to the U.S. Vets March Veterans Village, located on March Air Force Base in Riverside, California. In Phoenix, has provided grants, funds, and support to U.S. vets to renovate a 150-room hotel in Phoenix, Arizona, which will serve as a permanent supportive housing project for hundreds of veterans in the Phoenix area. West LA in California, with over 11,000 homeless veterans in California. Let that number sink in. 11,000. The T2T Foundation realized that efforts would need to be substantial enough to meet the current problem. In California, Tunnel to Towers has provided extensive grant funds for a 388-acre property in West Los Angeles, California, which is being transformed into a community campus for over 3,000 veterans. Building 207, opened in February 23, provides housing and services to 67 veterans. We might only be making a dent, a little piece at the time. However, clearly, I'm not reading this from the website. This is Rose speaking here. Clearly, it's going to be step by step by step as all of this is built. The full campus, with almost a dozen other buildings, is to provide over 1,700 housing units for veterans in California. Tunnel to Towers' stake in this project, which is spearheaded by the Department of Veteran Affairs, is to provide over 715 housing units for the campus. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And back to that massive number again in California, 11,000 homeless veterans, just crazy. In Phoenix, Arizona, provided grant funds to renovate a 150-room hotel in Phoenix. In Austin, Texas, provided grant funds to provide 10 comfort homes to veterans on Mobile Loaves and Fishes property in Austin, Texas, as well as supportive services for 32 veterans. Let's not forget about those supportive services there. That is amazing.
Home.
Home.
Something to be proud of. Home. Safe. Comfort. Worthy of protection.
Family.
Home. I was deployed to Afghanistan.
I was on patrol.
March 26, 2010.
During a dismounted patrol.
I happened to step in the wrong spot.
And took a sniper round into the chest.
This is the date I was hit.
I lost my legs almost immediately.
I lost my left hand and both my legs above the knee.
My arm was gone, so I closed my eyes, thinking to myself, if I just keep breathing, I will make it home to my wife.
I just wanted to serve my country. Every day I'm still adapting to this new life.
It was hard having everybody change their lifestyle to take care of me.
A typical home doesn't feel like home to me.
They have to carry my chair up the stairs.
The hardest thing in my life is to have to call and yell for my children to help pick me off the bathroom floor.
Where do you go when home isn't home anymore?
This is Mark Wahlberg. There are over 1,000 families that need our help. Tunnel to Towers is honoring those heroes that risked their lives by providing them with mortgage-free homes.
Yes, I'm on the waiting list to have a home built.
It's going to be amazing.
The smart home technology, it makes my life a whole lot easier.
And it's 100% accessible.
It's built to fit my needs.
For me to gain independence again would be just amazing.
Be able to just take care of myself as an individual.
This home will allow me to be self-sufficient.
It'll help me live my life. It gives me back some of my dignity, who I used to be.
There is a waiting list for houses.
This is the waiting list. There are a lot of people on that list, yeah.
There are a lot of guys like me out there.
Maybe too many.
Gives you back your dignity, your pride, your self-perseverance.
Thanks to Tunnel to Towers, I'm going to have all these freedoms given back to me.
Home.
Personal. Safety.
Dignity. Family. Independence. Confidence.
It's the American dream, isn't it?
Home.
I'd like to ask you to contribute $11 a month to support their efforts. Please visit tunneltotowers.org.
Any and every veteran that may be struggling, especially ones with small children or families, we have an internal team where they can call us from anywhere in the nation and we'll provide them housing assistance to get housed in their area.
I didn't know that. How do people access that if they'd like to get to that link?
You can go to t2t.org and do research on our program, and we have our inquiry form there, our application form right there. We receive hundreds and hundreds every single month from a litany of sources, and we're providing a lot of veterans and their families with the assistance they need and with the access to supportive services they need. It's not enough to just provide a house. You have to really address the root causes of why veterans are struggling with homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Nicole Cardus, and my husband is Michael J. Cardus. He served in the Air Force for 23 years. I honestly grew up with Mike. We went on a date and we got married 3 months after that. We have 6 kids. They all remind me of him in different ways, actually, and it's kind of beautiful. Mike and I were living on Andrews Air Force Base when 9/11 happened. Honestly, that day changed the rest of our lives. From then on, our whole world became very real. Mike was deployed twice in 2004 to Qatar, and then he was in Afghanistan. I'm very proud of Mike. He did what he was called to do. It was the man he was. Mike came to me in March of 2022 and said, "Can you feel these lymph nodes?" And they were swollen. On Thursday, he got a phone call that said, "You have lymphoma, you're going to need chemo, it's treatable." He died the next morning. After Mike died, they did an autopsy, and his death certificate reads like an oncology textbook. It has all been contributed to him being in Afghanistan and the burn pits of Afghanistan. My biggest fears were, how do I financially support the kids? How do I emotionally support the kids? And how am I going to just keep our life intact? And then Tunnel to Towers paid off my mortgage on Veterans Day of 2023. I felt like I was seen. I was being taken care of, that my service mattered to somebody. It's life-changing. Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Let us do good.
Well, I'd be amiss, and I'll get into all kinds of trouble because although we're broadcast nationwide, we're out of Asheville, North Carolina, which is a place called Buncombe County. I mean, you've seen it on the news recently, probably because of Helene. And before Helene, we had 40% of our homeless were veterans. Veterans are very dear to my heart. I know I've got a funny accent, but my family back in the UK served. And once you serve, it doesn't matter where you're serving, right? So, yeah, I'd be amiss if I didn't say, we need you in Nashville.
Well, so it's funny you say that. I'm actually finalizing a deal now in Charlotte, North Carolina, for a permanent supportive housing program we're going to create there for veterans. But we have provided, I think, over 70 response trailers to Asheville to address what happened there. We've also sent care packages, things like that. We don't advertise that too much, but disaster relief. But we have helped Asheville and through the homeless veteran program. If there are veterans that are struggling, we're working with the crews there and the organizations there that are sort of the boots on the ground to provide assistance. How they need it. So we especially with the wildfires in Los Angeles, we provided a tremendous amount of assistance out in Los Angeles because we're New York based, but we want to be able to help out when these things happen.
Right, right. I love the fact that you're getting over on the West Coast because there seems to be a West Coast, East Coast divide, and who knows about Tunnel to Towers for some reason. Like everybody on the East Coast seems to know about you, whereas on the West Coast, it's like, no, I haven't come across them yet. So
yeah, and this program is really going to help with that. We have numerous veterans villages and programs that we're doing through the on the West Coast. We're contributors of the West LA rebuild, which will provide housing for over 3,000 veterans once completed at the end of this year, as well as Riverside, California, Denver, Colorado, Las Vegas. We have a lot of West Coast projects that we're working on now. Phoenix, Arizona. We're going to be in Tucson, Houston, Texas. We're trying to hit these markets where people are really struggling.
Sure, sure. How did you get into this, Gavin? Did you serve, or what drew you to it?
No, I was in the ROTC when I was a kid, but I never served. I was a real estate attorney, a broker, and the foundation was looking for someone to purchase land. So I said, that sounds interesting to give back. I was the 30th hire. Now we have over 360 employees.
Wow.
And I'm heading this program up, and it's been nothing but the platform that has been created by the Siller family and the foundation to be able to give back and help is unparalleled because we aren't reliant on any sort of government funding. We're reliant on the generosity of the American public. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Americans give $11 a month to our foundation. And so we're able to be very, very nimble and very responsive to the needs when something happens. If a police officer, firefighter, if a veteran gets killed in line of duty, their mortgage is paid off before they're in the ground.
My name is Jamie Spinella. I work for Northrop Grumman Corporation. I'm an international trade compliance analyst. I have a son named Rocco, who's 8 years old. He is a bundle of energy. He always has a smile on his face. He is one of the most pleasant children you will ever meet. He is just a joy. He's wonderful. My husband's name is Jeffrey Thomas Rizzo. He was a firefighter paramedic with Loudoun County Fire and Rescue in Virginia. Jeff was bartending at a local restaurant, and I would go there from time to time, and we just hit it off. He was charming and funny, and it just went from there. One of the first things he said to me when we met was, "I want to run into burning buildings." He was determined to be a part of the fire department. It was his passion. He loved it, and he made it happen. Jeff had just returned home from working a 3-day shift. He often worked a lot of overtime, so it wasn't uncommon. And he went upstairs. I did what I normally did. I took care of Rocco and put him to bed. We read stories, and I waited until he fell asleep and walked out of Rocco's room, and I found Jeff unresponsive. It didn't seem real. It seemed surreal. I called 911. They had me doing chest compressions until they arrived. He wasn't responding. There was nothing. You have this, it didn't seem real. It still doesn't. It feels like he's going to walk through that door any day. About a month later, I received a call from the union vice president, and he told me that Tunnel to Towers would like to help us with paying the mortgage. And that day, I received a call from the organization, and it was beyond, it really, there really is no explanation. There's no good way to describe that feeling when your whole world has been turned absolutely upside down. Life as you know it is completely different, and it'll never be the same. And all of the thoughts are, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? How am I going to take care of our son and continue to try and live our lives? But having that support from the organization, having that, it's just a wave of relief. You can focus on your lives and not have to worry about just trying to survive. Tunnel to Towers, their response and their support has made it possible for us to live and not have to worry about day to day, not have to worry about trying to survive. I mean, now we can focus on living. I can focus on Rocco and giving him the life that he deserves. Rocco is nonverbal. Rocco will often point to pictures of his father, and he will point, or he will grab my hand and point, and he'll turn around and look at me and smile. And usually in those cases, he's learning on an assistive technology. So he's learning on a device. When you point to things, that's what you want, or that's what you receive. I can't give him his father. So it's heartbreaking. It's bittersweet. I love that he still smiles when he sees his dad. But the fact that I can't do any more than that. It's bittersweet. The tattoo was done in honor of Jeff. It is the thin red line flag, and the three birds represent Jeff, Rocco, and myself. The writing came from my last birthday card from Jeff, and that is his handwriting. It's just something that makes me smile and keeps him with me on the left arm closest to the heart. What would you want to say to your husband? I'd want to tell him I love him. I want to tell him not to worry about us. And we miss him every day. We miss him. And I'm still waiting. I think I'll always be waiting for him to walk through that door. Just such a personality, it just, I don't, my head and my heart can't accept it. I'm sure he would be overjoyed at all of the support that we've received from Tunnel to Towers, from the department. I would hope he would be proud of us.
Veteran comes home, smart home is double amputee, triple amputee, quadruple amputee. That's how our smart home program began. The first quadruple amputee was a Staten Island resident, Brendan Morocco, and we built him a home. We're very responsive, and we're not tied up by so much red tape, and so that really resonates with the American public, the results we're able to generate.
And there's lots of different ways we can help, and we're always trying to come up with creative ways to help. And I know everybody prefers cash, right? Obviously. And I know that you have a car program and a land program as well, but we want things that will turn into money faster, really, right? That's really where we'd want to be looking, even though you have those programs. So, and obviously you can go on and quite easily donate if you're listening today and want to get out your checkbook or your credit card, go on. It's $11 a month. We also have a lot of real estate agents listening, and we run various niche, everybody knows because you've all been listening to me for over a decade now. We run a lot of niche cash programs, and in those cash programs, believe it or not, we find through our funding partners that sometimes people just say, you know what? Well, let me step back for a second. So most cash programs, you're lucky if you get 50-60% of the value of the home. You know that as well, Gavin. You're a broker. That's a normal cash program. Our cash program, 2/3 of sellers make more than with a conventional sale. Of course, we do conventional sales too. I had an old client call me, a previous client, not an old client, call me last week and say, well, do you still do conventional listings? I'm like, oh yes, absolutely we do conventional listings. Don't worry about that. However, we also handle these cash offers where 2/3 of our sellers are making more than they make with a conventional listing. And sometimes they say, whatever, I'll just take because you get a first check and then we go in and we renovate and we do our HGVT magic, put anything right that comes up on the inspection. So it's a certified pre-owned home, like a certified pre-owned car. And then you get a second check. But we're having people come to us. Can you believe this, Gavin? And say, listen, I just want out. I'm 80 years old. I just want out. You just give me that first check. And we're working with a funding partner so that we can turn over the rest of that money to Tunnel to Towers. I think this could be really great because obviously real estate agents do cash offers all day long. It always surprises me. It's never a world I've been in. A lot of my colleagues do it where they do these kind of, investor offers, 60, 50, 60% offers. However, if we can do it and at the same time take that money and give it to you when somebody just doesn't want to go through the hassle of it, that would be amazing. So we're training agents in that big chunk that can be given. Also, I used to work with a company called Homes for Heroes. I was their #1 agent in the country, and given back in my tiny little team, my amazing team has given back almost $1 million. We're trying to trip over that $1 million mark. And we're in a little town in Asheville, North Carolina. So the very cool thing there is it taught me how to market it for many years. So now it's very easy whereby we can sign up our clients as we go. We can, when we're doing 100, 200, 300 deals a year, that's quite a lot of people signing up. So there's nothing stopping us as agents doing that $11 a month. It's way less than many of the other agent programs where we give up 30% of our commission. That's just how agents work. I know if you're not listening, if you're out there and you're not an agent, you don't understand that we give up 20, 30% of our commission to these programs usually. Whereas with this, we're signing up somebody for $11. We can all afford that because we can do it out of the commission. So I think that's a good model. Have you got any other ideas, Gavin, for agents, what we can do and how we can help?
No, I mean that is incredible what you're doing so far. We appreciate it. You definitely get to see the fruits of your donation and the fruits of your labor when we're able to provide a home or pay off the mortgage. There's obviously large tax benefits to doing so to homeowners, which we've been working very creatively with as well as I purchase these large scale commercial properties. But I am familiar with Homes for Heroes as well. And just spreading awareness is really, more than enough. Showing people, because listen, there's 1,000 places to put your money, and there's a lot of good organizations that do, a lot of good work. But people want to feel that they are making a difference, and people want to feel that the money that they are giving is going to a cause that they find worthy. So we have a tremendous amount of ways where donors can earmark funds for the causes that they find near and dear to their heart. Could be a police officer or a firefighter got killed in their town, or it could be a village in Denver that we're creating. It could be a smart home recipient that they knew personally. So we provide the ability of donors to be able to tailor their donation to what the causes that are near and dear to their heart.
That is amazing. So you've got lots of different channels. I didn't realize that either. So you're teaching me a lot today. Thank you so much. And this isn't about, I mean, I want to do what we can do in Western North Carolina. However, we've got an amazing network of thousands of agents at Listing Royalty. We just launched the app. The app is live, guys. It's the first week I'm announcing it because it's that new. And this is a big network of agents that once we actually educate them through this, and Gavin, I think what I'm going to do is take today's radio show and we've got our beautiful mug shots on there as well. And I'm going to get you on the app if I can have your permission to do that for the agents to see it.
That's no problem. And Rowena, as you're talking here, a light bulb went off in my head. Our program, my homeless veteran program, we through our case management network, where any and every veteran, no matter where you are, Arkansas, Asheville, Los Angeles, anywhere, Puerto Rico, Guam, we do. You could call our foundation and we provide you funds to get into an accommodation that suits you and your family's needs. You're sleeping in a van with 3 children in North Carolina, you call us. We're able to provide the funds, first month's rent, second month's rent, security deposits, broker's fees, applications fees, to get them housed in their area. And then we work with over 1,000 organizations. If they need an attorney in Asheville, North Carolina, or they need a PTSD or mental health clinic in North Dakota, or they need a drug and alcohol rehabilitation center in Idaho, or they need an employment opportunity in Florida.
Wow.
You have this interconnected network of webs that can fill in where we can't be. But as you talk about this real estate network, right, we have an entire housing team, but sometimes we struggle to pair a veteran and their family with a good long-term housing solution. So we work with realtors and real estate agents all over the nation to facilitate that, right? We have a John Smith in this location, and he has a pet and this and that, whatever. And working with the real estate agents that are more in tune with the submarkets, right, where they live is very advantageous to us. So I would love to explore that more and get some more visibility as to our program and how realtors can potentially get involved, because it would be very invaluable for us to know that we can pick up the phone and say, we have a case here in Bradenton, Florida. We need someone with real knowledge in that area for Section 8 or HUD-VASH or whatever it is that can help.
Yes, it sounds like you can really get me alongside the right person. So my skill set is really my love is training and coaching, and that's where the app came from. It's all about training and coaching. That's why you're here today, so we can bring it to all those other agents and they can learn more about what you're doing. But what I'll offer to do, I'll just throw it in the ring there if it's of any help at all, is I'll develop a program for Homes for Heroes that sits behind this, that's not paid, and any agents can take it to kind of get certified and learn what your programs are. And the great thing about an app, and I know you oldies who are listening are going, oh, I don't use apps. You use all kinds of apps, and I've seen you, and I'm not 19 either. It's fun. It's full of videos and all kinds of widgets on there, and it's a bit more fun than a website, but you can do it on a desktop too. For those agents who, are getting up there a little bit and they just prefer a desktop, that's fine as well. But I'll develop out an entire, if that would help, an entire course for you. You've probably got presentations already for agents, teaching them about everything you do. And I'm guessing with Tunnel to Towers, everything you do is going to be different in 3 months' time because you're growing at an incredible rate. And so many of you are helping and jumping in to lead up new programs like you're doing, Gavin. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. But it's not just us doing it alone. It takes a village, as you know, and everyone marching to the same beat, sharing best practices, sharing resources, sharing information, sharing contacts. That's how we can eradicate veteran homelessness together, and that is our mission. That's my program's mission, and we've made a promise. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation has made a promise that if you go to work, you go to war, you put on a uniform and you don't return home that day and you have small children, we will provide you a mortgage-free home. So that's the commitment we've made to America. And only with the generosity of America are we able to do that. So we appreciate it.
Well, I see that. And I also, I'm watching those ads. I'm watching those videos. I encourage everybody to look up t2t.org and also go have a look on YouTube, but take your box of tissues because it's some hard watching. You will learn a lot. You'll learn a lot about what they're doing. I don't think there's that much around your division there yet, is there, Gavin? Or can you see it out there already?
No, there is. If you go on the website, you can take virtual tours. You see all of our renderings that we're building. All the permanent supportive housing locations we're going to be building. It's going to be fitted out with a full suite of supportive services for everything a veteran needs: entitlements assistance, employment assistance, behavioral health, case management, legal advocacy. We work with other organizations in the same space for pet therapy and art therapy and music therapy and cooking classes. It's a really comprehensive village that we're creating in these large metro areas that is fully therapeutic and is permanent housing for veterans. For whatever they need. So there's going to be many, many coming online this year and next year. We have our Houston Veterans Village, which opened last year, but stay tuned because there's going to be a lot of good updates on our program.
It's amazing. And I love that you're bringing that village together because I know that when veterans come home, the first thing they need is that community because they've lost that community. Isn't that one of the key factors where you're stepping back in as a civilian and it's just so hard? So having that village where you've got people of a common mindset around that have, seen some terrible things that the average person walking around hasn't seen must make it so much easier. So thank you from all of us. You're doing just an amazing job. Anything I can do to help, you've got my number.
Well, thank you so much, Rowena. We appreciate it.
This has been the Plain English Real Estate Show with Rowena Patton. Visit Rowena and post your questions at radioasheville.com or call her at 828-210-1648.